Shabbat Shalom. Rabbi Jonathan Sachs notes how the monuments in both the United States and in Britain are very different. In Britain, monuments are marked by just the names, whether it's Churchill or other famous people. Um, there's nothing more than just the names on the monuments. Whereas if you're in Washington, D.C., and you look at the Lincoln Memorial or Jefferson Memorial, there are or Martin Luther King, there are full quotes based on what they stood for and the values. And he comments that the difference is that England is based on a tradition of, it's based on tradition, and people just, who are part of the culture just know what those icons stand for. But the United States was founded from a moral and a covenantal vision. And it was founded by Puritans and Calvinists that came over that were very much connected to the Hebrew Bible and the morals and the teachings involved. And so those principles and those teachings, retelling those, whether that's in the monument or whether that's in our being able to relate the story of the founding of our country, is so important to being able to be a country that lives a moral vision. Moses knew this also, because what's amazing is in this week's Parsha, before the Israelites are even free, he is already saying that he's already talking about what will happen in the future. In future generations, when your children ask you, what happened or what is this? You will tell them, you know, the Egyptians enslaved us and God took us out with an outstretched arm. And you will tell this story. You will continue to tell a story of freedom, to tell a story of liberation. And that is something that continues to be a guide in our lives and in our world. You know, right now, this past year, 19 countries have passed laws that are, not 19 countries, sorry, 19 states in our country have passed laws that restrict voting rights, that restrict the full access to something that is fundamental to our founding story and our democracy. And that's something that we have to be attentive to. And it's something that we are attentive to because if we are faithful to the story. Now, Moses knew this really clearly, because if we don't have that story to guide us, then we become entrenched in whatever are the values of the particular age, whether that's fascism or consumerism or hedonism or whatever else it is, and not stay connected to, how our story lives in us. As we're right in the middle of reading the cycle in our Torah cycle of the story of the Exodus, we know that even as we read it in synagogue, when Passover comes in just a few months, we're going to spend that time telling that story at our Seder. And every year that we tell it, there's something a little bit different, something that we're focusing on, something that we're trying to look at the world around us and apply this story. So my invitation for all of us, as we again engage in not only hearing the story, but the importance of telling the story, that we know that this is what helps guide us in being a part of creating a moral vision for our world and our society. Shabbat Shalom.